Yes, on the mobile side, Android is significantly more dangerous to use than iOS for your iPad or your iPhone. The nature of applications in each platform are fundamentally different, and that's a political and a strategic choice by Google and Apple. Google believes that anybody should be able to create an application for their program and sell it or give it away for free. Apple believes that only stuff that they feel is approved and thoroughly vetted by people at Apple can make it onto your iPhone or your iPad. Now, there are pros and cons to both. Obviously, on the Apple side, the pros are Apple checks each one of these programs to make sure they're not malicious, and they've been very successful at keeping malicious software out of the iTunes store. But if you make an application that for whatever reason Apple doesn't agree with, maybe you're someone who wants to create a pretty girl app that Apple might find a little risque or controversial, they're not going to allow it. They're going to say, nope, your application is not approved for sale in the iTunes store, and you're out of luck. Now, on the Google side, if you go to the Android store or the Google Play store and you search for pretty girls or whatever, you might find 1,000 applications. Many of those are just fine. They're exactly what they claim to be. But many of those applications are actually malware delivery. Sure, you'll get pictures of pretty girls, but you'll also get a piece of malware in the background that monitors your phone calls, monitors your browsing activity, monitors your text messages, may be able to fraudulently send text messages on your behalf to premium text message services. And this happens a lot more, well, it happens exponentially more on Android than it's happening on iOS. Now, at FortiGuard, we are seeing, and this is a staggering number, we get 1,000 new Android malware samples a day, per day, every day. So if you use an Android phone, it's very advisable to make sure, one, you're installing applications from known, reputable sources. Google does try and limit how much malware makes it on the Google Play Store, but it still gets there. And Google has to be reactive to reports of malware and get it off. But you take a risk by installing applications that you're not absolutely sure are safe. So if you see something that's not from Google or not from some major software developer, think twice before you install it, because you might be putting more in your phone than you really want. The flip side of that coin is make sure you use some sort of mobile antivirus protection. Fortinet, we have mobile antivirus, but there are plenty of other options out there. If you want to use someone else's product, that's fine. Just use something. If you're not using antivirus on your Android device, you are, just like on your computer, you're asking to get infected. A lot of people think that they're smart enough or intelligent enough or knowledgeable enough to know how not to get infected, and they don't run antivirus. Well, let me tell you, the days of 10 years ago where the only way you could get infected with something was by knowingly running some sort of application or clicking on an attachment in an email, those days are gone. Just by visiting a website that's been compromised, you can get infected. By installing a third-party app that you think might be legitimate, you can get infected. It's not enough anymore. The most clever people in the security business continually get fooled by certain pieces of malware because people on the other side of the coin are just as smart, and they're coming up with unique and novel ways every single day to infect machines, because that's what they do. That's how they make their money. Some of these guys are making tens of millions of dollars every year. The Reviton gang, which is a small group of people who are responsible for a piece of software that when you were infected with it would lock your screen with this message saying your computer has been frozen by the FBI. And the only way you can get it unlocked is you have to pay us $250. And how you pay us $250 is you go to the supermarket, you buy a prepaid Visa card for $250, and you give us the code on the back. And that's how we'll give you your computer back. Well, I mean, to you and me, that sounds pretty ludicrous. But if your machine's been locked down and you can't get into it, and the easiest way to get it back and get all family photos, files, and your emails back is by paying them $250. A lot of people pay it. The Reventon gang was making millions of dollars upon millions of dollars launching these types of, they're called ransomware. Basically, they hold your computer ransom until you pay up. They've gotten so clever now that they individually encrypt each machine at the hard drive level with just this message being able to be executed. So the only way you can get your data back is by paying the ransom. Either that or you just have to delete your whole computer from scratch and start over. If you don't have a backup, you're going to lose everything on that machine. So that's happening now in the mobile space. We're starting to see people's cell phones being locked. The same thing, you want access to your phone, you need to pay $29.95 for our special antivirus software that will protect you from this. And when in reality, that's the software that actually infected you, and you're just basically giving them money to give you your phone back. Now, if you give them the money, there's no guarantee. One, most likely they will unlock your computer, but they're not going to delete the virus. The virus is going to stay there, and once these viruses or malware have made traction on your system, a lot of times they have the ability to install new viruses. Because your machine's been compromised, they'll go out to wherever and they'll download another virus. And then a month later you might have it happen again, but it might be something else. A month later you might be, noticing your machine's working super slow because all of a sudden it's been enlisted into some sort of denial of service botnet. The opportunities for cyber criminals to make an insane amount of money is staggering.